Hello everyone, and welcome to the continuation of the previous tutorial on photosynthesis. For more details, do not forget to check the links in the below description. Stay tuned.
There exist two types of photosynthesis. We have oxygenic photosynthesis and we have anoxygenic photosynthesis. So, the difference between oxygenic photosynthesis and anoxygenic photosynthesis is that in the oxygenic photosynthesis, water is actually the electron donor, and oxygen is being produced in the oxygenic photosynthesis. But in the anoxygenic photosynthesis, actually, water is not the electron donor. Therefore, there is no production of oxygen. So, in oxygenic photosynthesis, light is actually responsible for the transfer of electron from water to carbon dioxide in order to produce carbohydrate. In other words, water is being said to be the oxidizing agent. So in oxygenic photosynthesis, water will actually be oxidized in order to produce its electrons and oxygen. So the electrons that are being produced will be accepted by carbon dioxide in order to produce carbohydrate. So the electrons will be accepted by carbon dioxide in order to produce carbohydrate. So, in anoxygenic photosynthesis, water is not the electron donor. And also, oxygen is not being produced. So oxygen is not being produced. So again, in brief, we are going to state the differences between the above mentioned types of photosynthesis. So, according to the representation of the above equation, we are going to notice that in the oxygenic photosynthesis, water is actually the electron donor. So water will be oxidized in order to release its electron, and oxygen will actually be produced in the oxygenic reaction. But in the anoxygenic photosynthesis, water is not the electron donor, and therefore oxygen will not be produced. This also can be represented by the below listed equation. So, in oxygenic photosynthesis, we have water. We actually combine with carbon dioxide, sunlight, in order to produce carbohydrate. Plus oxygen plus water. But in the case of the anoxygenic photosynthesis, water is actually not the electron donor. In this equation, water will actually be oxidized to release its electrons, which will be accepted by carbon dioxide. So, in other words, carbon dioxide that accepts the electrons from water will actually be termed the reducing agent, because it actually accepts the electrons that is being lost by water, and water is actually going to be the oxidizing agent because it loses its electrons. So in the anoxygenic photosynthesis, we are going to notice that just carbon dioxide is going to combine with another molecule. You can say this molecule can be not water, but it can be A, where this A is going to represent, the A is going to represent a variable, and in the presence of light, is actually going to produce carbohydrate. So, in the anoxygenic photosynthesis, water is not being used, but we have carbon dioxide combining with a molecule which is not water in order to manufacture carbohydrate, and water is being produced, but oxygen is not being produced. So, that is the major difference between the two kinds of.
And now I know my heart is a ghost town.